So today we're at Carillon Park. We're breaking ground for an 1850s brewery operation that we're going to be putting here as part of our educational exhibits. This is one that will be about a 14,000 square foot addition here, talking about the history of brewing and winemaking in the Miami Valley. We had about 18 different breweries here in the 19th century, and so we will be doing that with costumed interpreters using period tools and techniques in a brand new heavy timber brick building with copper brew kettles and the whole works. So we think it'll be very well received and be a nice educational addition to the Carillon Park campus. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Brady Kress, the President and CEO of Dayton History, and as I mentioned before, I know this is kind of a Guinness day, but it might be good for the start of brewery. So I wanted to introduce Ron Rollins, our board chair, and Ron, you have a few words?
Just a few. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here on a very rainy day that at least isn't that cold. And I just want to say, Brady has, this is most of his show today, he has the explanation for what we're going to see come out of the ground here soon, and thank you to our special guests. I will thank you as well. But also I want to say, when Brady first came to the board a while back with this idea for a brewery, our initial response was, huh? and yet, as he explained it and as he told us the reasoning behind why it made sense to him as an addition to the park, it made sense to all of us on the board, but it also was a really good reminder that so much of what we do here is about familiar names and faces, Dunbar and the Wrights and the Pattersons and the Deedses of Dayton's history, but there's so much more to our history than just the stuff that's familiar. And that's what I like about the brewery project. It's a reminder of some aspects to our past that maybe we take for granted or don't even think of, and that's just one of the best things about this place, and I think about the job that Brady and his staff do in bringing those stories forward. I also have to say too that anybody who knows that I have anything to do with the park has been asking me about the brewery more than anything else we've ever done. So I think that's a good sign. This is going to be a very popular project. Again, thank you to our special guest. Brady, take it away from here. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Yes. Thanks, Ron. And not only to you, Ron, but thank you to the entire board. We've had this in the master plan for a while, and until some champions stepped forward to make it a reality, we didn't know if it was going to fly or not. So I also wanted to recognize Eric Luxton, who is our immediate past chair when this thing initially hit the map, right? And so thank you. All the other board members that are here, Jay and I guess old Barbara somewhere. Oh, geez, you're right in front of me. Thank you. So I miss Stephen Wright's here on our board. Boy, did I miss anybody on the board? Okay. So thank you. It's really neat if you'll think with me for a minute. Imagine that 10,000 years ago, as this moraine was forming and the glacier that formed it was pulling away, there are ancient Sumerians in what is now known as the Middle East who are starting to experiment with fermentable grains at that exact same time. So there's something in the earth that is calling us to do this. It's also neat that in the 1860s, this moraine is perfect as good draining soil to grow grapes. And so we not only have this connection to beer, but we have this connection to wine. And as many people, I know many people are familiar with Dayton Country Club, we know that was indeed the William Kramer vineyard and pleasure garden, as he called it. And up there he was producing thousands of gallons of white Catalpa wines and sparkling wines. We didn't know that Dayton was a home of champagne at one point, so we were doing that. So it's really neat that we're able to pull this together. And right where we're sitting, and right where we're going to start to dig here or turn over the first soil, is if you can imagine with me this 14,000 square foot facility that is going to be interpreted at a time of 1850. This is a time when not only are we starting to experiment in the United States with artificial refrigeration, being able to make ice with compressed ammonia, liquid ammonia, but also which allows us to bring something else in that same time period, 1852, lager yeasts hit the Dayton area. And so we're able to, in this facility, talk about this amazing transformation because of technology in the production of a safe to drink. We're not talking about the water that the raccoons have been in, that nobody wants to drink because you'll get sick. Something that has nutrition that can travel in it, and it makes one joyful. And so for all those reasons, we want to talk about those things here, and especially at that time period, mid 19th century, with a number of volunteers that have agreed to dress the part today. So we are right now, if you can see this corner stake right over there, there's John Roll, our architect, it's about a 25 foot passage that leads from the front of the park, where our expanded parking lot will be under the shade of the trees, all the way through this area out into this huge event lawn. So as we go into the future, you will be able to pass through this brewery into an event lawn that will house certainly the German picnic and the Ale Fest, and thank you, Joe, for being here. Ale Fest and Fleur de Vin and all the wonderful events, and hopefully some future ones. Bring back the Ohio Wine Festival and a number of other events that we can have out in this lawn. But the gateway to it is the brewery in this passageway. So we're very excited about that. In the center here will be a massive interpretive area that, like I said, using period tools and techniques with costume interpreters, producing in front of the public. Imagine this timber frame brick building filled with rough sawn oak and brick and copper pots, wood fired kilns and boil kettles. All of those will be right in the center of this building. And when we're finished, we will be the only facility, museum facility in the United States that's producing and serving using these historic methods. And I think that's something to check off for the city of Dayton, that we're able to do that here in Dayton, here in Ohio, here at Carillon Park. What's also wonderful is that in the far end, we will have a full commercial kitchen, which allows us to produce things that we can then sell. But we also have a fully operational kitchen that will allow us to pair different foods with those beverages. So we're excited to start this venture. So with that, I wanted to introduce our champions. None of this happens without our financial support. We're lucky that we're joined by Leslie and Vale Miller Jr. and by Carol and Vale Sr. and also by Mary and Harold Reek. These receiving this lead gift, and Vale can tell you, this lead gift was really over a couple brews over a number of months. How can we get this thing off the road, off the ground, and boy, we brought your parents in, and the four of you, when you finally decided, it was just a great day. It's like, wow, this thing is going to really work. And so had the lead gift from the Miller family and from Heidelberg Distributing. And as we started to continue to develop this, and as it grew, we needed other champions to help us put this thing over the top. And again, over some beverages. I was invited over to Harold and Mary's house, and with them personally and Reek Mechanical Services, they put us over the top for funding. So thank you very much to all of you who are here. And if it's all right, Ms. Miller, if you'd like to say a few words, it'd be great.
First of all, I can't believe that everybody has come on a rainy day. I think the last time when we were announcing that we were all going to do this, I pointed out that my grandfather's first place of business was right over there beyond where NCR used to be. It's been 75 years since Heidelberg started, and I think that it's my privilege as well as pleasure to get to pay back and pay it forward a little bit. They worked very, very hard, and I hope that we will all have the Gemütlichkeit. That was the German word that they used to be conviviality and friendship and hospitality, and hopefully it'll be right here, right here, and we'll all be here too. Thank you.
Well, great. Well, we're going to do a little digging. I will mention too, just another quick history nugget. In London, England, in 1814, there was a brewery, and they had a 100,000-gallon vat that burst open and caused a chain reaction, which resulted in 300,000 gallons of beer going through this neighborhood in London. 7 people died in this flood. And there was an 8th that died the day after from alcohol poisoning. So I want to mention that because there is no connection between us doing the groundbreaking on this brewery and us opening our flood exhibit at the end of the week. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So well, with that, I'd like to call some folks up and let's turn some ground.
Which way are you going to fling it, Brady? I'm flinging this way, so watch out.
Dig it a little bit.
Alright, no one mess with us, we're armed.
Looks like vampires.
Baptize the ground.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. That's an action photo.
So the next time we're all together, we will be drinking Carillon Brewing Company.
And the bells.
Cheers! Cheers! Cheers!
We couldn't be more pleased with what's going on and more proud that we were part of it. And I can only say that in a couple years, let's have another big party down here on a nicer day, but definitely with the word Gemütlichkeit in our minds.
Das gut, das gut.
Das gut.